Oh my gosh, girls, can you imagine life after high school?
I bet it's going to be more on research, and I think we have to do things on our own.
Have you girls figured out what course to take?
I'm planning to take up a course that would enhance my interpersonal skills. What do you think?
Oh, my sister is studying cebudoctorsuniversity and she's taking up baby psychology. I've heard it's a really good program and I think it will fit on you.
Let's check it online.
Okay, good.
Wow, they have a very good curriculum, and their facilities are great. I'm impressed.
This course is very interesting.
This course is the one I've been looking for. I will surely take up psychology at cebudoctorsuniversity.
Me too!
Me too.
Oh my gosh!
Field exposure. Actually, daghan, if you mentioned some of psychometrics class, group process, daghan you gave me one exposures. In terms of professional development, ma-expose with me through interviews sa mga different industry, mga professionals as well. So, basically, it may add sa mga competencies as a student and as a future psychologist.
Psychology originally started with philosophy. At that time, psychology was defined as the study of mind and soul. But the breakthrough of physiology as well as philosophy created the first or the modern psychology or scientific psychology. Thus, it's now defined as the scientific study of human behavior and mental processes. So it basically deals with how humans behave, covering both the ones that are observable and non-observable, and how his mind works, how his brain works, that it basically influences both the overt and covert behavior.
Psychology is a study of behavior and about life, about things that you want to know, about your past, your present, and probability what would you become if you happen to understand your personality.
Because psychologists help to ensure the health and well-being of all people, individuals, families, group, and society as a whole. Psychology, because to answer questions like what is psychology all about? So psychology can be defined as the study of human mind and behavior that involves in understanding of emotional issues which brings about health, happiness, and functionality of any individual. So therefore, the field of psychology would help us attain physical, emotional, and mental health, since psychology allows us to appreciate the relationship between thoughts, emotions, that resulting into positive behavior.
So with that definition, we can see that there are a lot of misconceptions of psychology. Like people would say that psychology basically talks about spirits, ghosts, supernatural. Though there is such thing as what we call parapsychology, but when we talk of psychology itself, it is a science. So as a science, therefore, it does scientific investigation before it arrives at a conclusion or a description of human behavior. There's a vast demand of psychology graduate, not only here in the Philippines, but even abroad. Here in the Philippines, of course, you have, in the industrial setting, there's a demand for HR personnel, which they would prefer psychology graduates, since one of our exposure is in the HR department of the organization. When we talk of demands of psychology in the school setting, you have in the teaching profession, you also have in psychometrics, or the field of psychometrics, that is becoming a psychometrician. not only in terms of, let's say, admission of students, assessment of students to arrive at an intervention or program, but even in research. So therefore, there's also a demand for psychology in research. And then counseling. Though of course, with the new law talks about the licensure of the guidance counselor. If you're a graduate in psychology and intends to become a guidance counselor, then you will have to proceed for your master's in guidance and counseling. So that will be your specialization. In line with that, of course, such kind of demands here in the Philippines for psychologists, it's also the kind of demand that you can see in the global perspective abroad. There's a demand for psychologists, there's a demand for psychometrician, both in the school setting, in the industrial setting, even in the community and the clinical setting. So it's basically the profession itself, psychologist, being a psychologist or being a licensed psychometrician. And thanks to the Republic Act, to the psychology law, our graduates in psychology would be given much more global competence, since we are now really awarding our graduates in psychology their license as they pass the board exam. And that means to say your chances of getting employed abroad globally will be higher, since you are already a licensed psychologist or psychometrician here in the Philippines.
Cebu Doctors University offers a world-class facilities that facilitate and help us or help the students attain quality education and wider scope of job opportunities after graduation. So, don't delay. Enroll AB Psychology in Cebu Doctors University.
Studying psychology is a beautiful place. Number one, it's a beautiful place. Number two, the teachers are beautiful inside out. Number three, it is not that expensive. Number four is that you would really enjoy life at CDU. Much more if you are enrolled in the Department of Psychology.
Of the psychology program here in Cebu Doctors. Initially, the program in psychology here started as a pre-med course. So those students who intend to proceed to medicine and have the interest to study human behavior, they may enroll in psychology before their medicine proper. But then we made some adjustment to it based on the students' needs. So thus we created a new curriculum that would both cater students who would want to go for medicine, so it's a pre-med course, and those who would just want to finish their degree in psychology. Apart from it, of course, our psychology program here in Cebu Doctors is aligned with CMO, so it's the psychology program here in the Philippines is now regulated by SHED. That means to say there are certain guidelines that the school have to adhere so that that program is credited to SHED.
So, thank you. Okay. So, thank you, Madam. So, the final question, could you give us
Lots. You name it, we have it. Like field, we have the fields. We also have the classroom setting. We also have many references. The library is so good. And the teachers are well exposed, not only in the academy, but also outside. Like in my case, I've been a consultant, so if you want to work in an NGO or if you want to work in a corporation, then CDU, IO Psychology is here for you to help and become successful when you work outside the academy. For the academy also, we have teachers who happen to be in a good line, like we have a researcher, we have teachers taking out, what do you call that? Taking out abnormal psychology, taking into doctorate. Most of the teachers in psychology are into doctoral courses. And so I tell you, you are in good hands if you happen to choose CBU psychology.
Of course, initially the students will be exposed to the vast theories and principles in the study of human behavior and mental processes. These are the needed foundation for them to perform their practice later on. After this exposure, students will be now exposed to the real world, not really to the real world, but the simulation or a portion of the academic training. That is providing students the training on assessment, both in the school and industry. Furthermore, students will be exposed on training, conducting training, facilitating training, as well as, when we talk of training, that does not only mean training for industrial setting, but even giving interventions or psychotherapy to the students. Students are also exposed to counseling. They are given a chance to get or develop their skills in counseling, not only in their respective subjects, but also during their on-the-job training. And then students will be exposed to both to the school setting, particularly in the guidance office, to the industrial setting, clinical setting. PsyCHIA hopefully will be moving towards that. And students will be also exposed to non-governmental organizations where they're going to deal with children in conflict with the law, or children that are abused, or women that are abused. So in this way, they will be able to develop their skills in counseling, in assessment, in training, and giving psychotherapy. And of course, as one of the field, a very important field in the science of human behavior and mental processes, psychology students will also be exposed to research. Because of course, the science of human behavior is something that is dynamic, so it keeps on changing, and we would be able to know what are these changes as we conduct research.